Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back to the channel, guys. As the momentum continues to build, we followed up our Copa del Rey win with another win, a big one in the league against Getafe, and we have 7 finals remaining, and if we win them all, there is no doubt about it, we are league champions. That is the aim. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing the game yesterday, and in particular, the fallout from that. We're going to be discussing Ousmane Dembélé's absence. We're going to be talking about that spat between Ronald Koeman and Oscar Mingueza, and Koeman's explanation for that, along with Pedri, who played the full 90 minutes yet again. Is that the right choice? We're going to be discussing it all, so let's get to it. Because if we do start, first of all, with Ousmane Dembélé, who, of course, let's not forget, did not feature at all in the Copa del Rey final. He was on the bench for that game, but he did not come on for a single minute in that game as a sub. And then, coming into the game against Getafe, Dembélé was not even in the squad. And it was then confirmed by the club, something that we had heard rumoured now for several weeks, that Dembélé was suffering there with pelvis discomfort. Something that apparently he has been playing through. He has been carrying that knock now for quite a few games, but it did seem as though over the past 2 games the club had decided, well, you know what, we're not going to take any more risks. Perhaps it became there a little bit more serious for Dembélé, and I think when it comes to Dembélé in particular, we want to be careful. We want to be really careful when it comes to Dembélé and injuries, who has done pretty well throughout the season so far to stay clear of any problems. And the good news is that it's not serious. It's not something here that is going to plague Dembélé. Hopefully the good news is that Dembélé is in contention to return this weekend for a big game that it is for us, going away there to Villarreal. Koeman said after the game that he hoped Dembélé would be available, saying that it was very possible that he could return. And to go along with that, Dembélé did take part this morning in some of the training session with the rest of the group, and if he can feature now in the full session before Sunday's game, we could definitely see him return against Villarreal. But of course, if we do indeed go back to last night's win against Getafe, on the score sheet it read 5-2, but I think in reality it was quite a bit closer than that, particularly there in the second half. We had some nervy moments where Getafe were pushing there for that equalising goal, and Ronald Koeman did admit after the game that he felt as though the team had lost concentration, and he was very angry about that. And that's something for me that simply cannot happen, especially here in this title run-in. One lapse of concentration, if you drop your guard there for 10-15 minutes, that can cost you a title. Those kind of errors cannot creep into our game. And Koeman himself had a bit of an up and down game, to be honest, in terms of his subs there. We ended up replacing 4 out of the back 5 that we started the game with. That's absolutely incredible when you think about it. And although Koeman did confirm there was no physical problem with Gerard Piqué, he said that was a sub which was basically pre-arranged, given the fact that he played Copa del Rey final. He was only ever going to play 45 minutes in this game. And of course, one of the other subs in terms of the centre-backs, it was Oscar Mingueza. And that was a rather more controversial sub, because indeed, as we went there into the final 20 minutes of the game, it was getting a little bit nervy in our play. Like I say, Getafe were putting some serious pressure on us, and you could see that Koeman on the bench was getting more and more angry with the team's performance, and in particular, he was singling out there an individual from the sidelines. He was particularly unhappy with a phase of play there where he felt Oscar Mingueza committed himself and left us open if we'd lost the ball to the counter-attack, and it was a very angry reaction from Koeman. And of course then Mingueza, he went over to the bench, he tried to shake Koeman's hand. He didn't really want to know, he sort of pushed him away, he was sort of focusing on the game, but he really was quite angry there with Mingueza, and that was a bit of a shock to us all, given the fact that he is a young player, given the fact he don't really want to damage his confidence. And I think those things, they can happen. At the end of the day, this is football, this is real top-level stuff. You're fighting for titles, everything's on the line. Emotions, they're going to run high, but I just don't think they're that public display, sort of making a real point there to be angry with an individual, especially a young player. That's not exactly the route we want to go down. But the most important thing is that, you know what, Koeman admitted his mistake. That's the important thing here. You've got to be a big man to stand up and say, you know what, I made a mistake. He said my reaction with Oscar, he said that was a bit exaggerated. He said maybe there I was a bit wrong because he's having a great season. He said the youngsters do have to learn that with Barcelona you've got to play at 100%, you've got to be 100% focused every single game. But he said his substitution had no relation though to my anger. He said I spoke with Oscar, there is no problem between us. So Koeman there, drawing a line under it, and I think we can all agree to do the same. It's done, it's happened, we got the win, that was the most important thing. Now, on to the next game. But speaking indeed of Oscar Mingueza, when he went off the field, you will have noticed there that he actually had to go off at the nearest touchline, meaning there that he basically had to walk around the entire field to get back to the bench. And it was interesting because one of the players there to approach him and actually put his arm around him and sort of console him a little bit, it was none other than Riqui Puig, who of course has a story of his own with Ronald Koeman. And indeed in this game, Puig was warming up there right throughout the second half, but again, he did not enter as a sub, and this comes of course after he was completely excluded from the squad in the Copa del Rey final. And in this kind of game, and in this kind of moment, I just don't understand why Riqui couldn't have come on in place of Pedri. We keep saying it every single week, but still, it doesn't really change. We've said now, for game upon game upon game, that Pedri, he is clearly struggling. I can see it, you can see it, Koeman surely, he can see that that's a player who is struggling here with the demands of such a long season. This is his first ever season at this level. Of course he's going to be tired. Of course he's going to be feeling those effects. And I just don't really understand why Koeman is still insistent there upon leaving him out there for the full 90 minutes. Yesterday you could see him wilting on the field, and I just think right now we want to avoid, first of all, any injury to Pedri. We don't want to run him into the ground and actually force there an injury problem, but most of all as well, you don't want to ruin his confidence, because of course let's not forget, this is an extremely talented player. He has shown us this season unbelievable quality, but right now he is going through a difficult time. You don't want to ruin all of that confidence, all of that belief that he's built up throughout the season by really playing him now when he can't give his best. I think we need to rotate him. I think we certainly need to give somebody like Riqui Puig an opportunity, but will Koeman do it? But like I say, guys, when all's said and done, all of these issues, all of these minor little problems that we are going to talk about here, the most important thing is winning these games. The most important thing now is getting those points on the board, because like I say, 7 finals remaining for Barcelona. So important here that we approach each and every game now with that same hunger, that same determination to get the 3 points, and it's not going to be long until we're back in action. We played there on the Thursday, we are in action again on the Sunday, and like I say, that is a big game against an informed team, against a very good striker, Gerard Moreno, who's been on fire this season in La Liga. We are going to be tested, and of course, all of the build-up, everything you need to know ahead of that clash, it's going to be coming right here and over on MORETALKFCB. I will see you then, guys. Let me know your take on all of today's topics, and I will see you soon. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça!